All right. Good morning, everybody. We're going to play with the chair today. I really like using the chair for a lot of different things. Um, but you will need all of your normal props. And if your chair is such, you're welcome to sit on your blanket. We're going to use the blanket for some other things, but if you're more comfortable um, sitting on the blanket now, go ahead and do that. And the challenge of anytime we're doing chair work is to have good alignment for the chair you're using, the height of your own body, where your feet land, where your knees land. And ideally, when you're sitting in your chair, your thighs are parallel to the floor and your feet are on the floor. If you have a tall chair and a short body, right, you could be with your feet not touching. And if you're really tall, you could be here. So adjust, which means if you're really tall and your knees are higher than your hips, go ahead and sit up on a blanket or two, as long as you feel stable. And if your feet aren't fully grounded, place a couple blocks or your blanket underneath your feet so that you can find that alignment. And then sit away from the back of the chair so that we're not doing the couch potato thing. Draw the shoulders up and back, and then let your hands rest on your legs or even in your lap is kind of nice. And take a few deep breaths here. Inhaling, nice deep breath. And exhaling. Good. Keep that up for a few minutes. We're going to play with a few different pranayama techniques. I want to talk about the first one, which is Ujjayi breath. Most yogis learn this one fairly early on. And it's a great breath. It's great breath work for focus and for toning the back of the throat chakra. So I really like it, and it helps kind of concentrate and focus and keep us working with the breath. Easiest way to explain that, if you know it, go ahead and start. If you don't know it, the easiest way to explain that, I always think of it as like a Darth Vader breath if you know Star Wars. But if you don't know it at all, take your hand in front of your mouth, and as you exhale, pretend that you're going to fog the front of a mirror, a front of glass, right? It's this kind of sound like you're whispering. And if that doesn't make sense, then pretend you're whispering into a phone. You're like, oh, are you there? Right? That kind of thing. It's a slight constriction at the back of the throat. Once you get that sensation, try to do that by exhaling through the nose instead of the mouth. So it's this, right? This little constriction at sound. You can hear yourself breathe. Once you've got that, try fogging the back of the throat. So as you inhale, and then as you exhale. And don't worry about being heard. Probably you don't have anybody around you that would notice anyway if you're on Zoom. So just try to breathe in using this Ujjayi breath. You can close the eyes. At the end of that exhale, that low belly draws in, the chest stays neutral. Try not to tighten the jaw. And then add one thing onto Ujjayi breath. So as you exhale, I want you to draw up through the pelvic floor muscles, okay, on the exhale, not the inhale. So try, it's a mula bandha. Some people would think kind of like Kegel maneuvers, but it's more than that. So as you exhale, imagine drawing up the pelvic floor muscles, inhaling as you release. Good. 3 more rounds. Good. Last round, everybody. And then let go, shake that kind of out. And just notice the connection, right? So from that kind of diaphragmatic breathing, the pelvic floor muscles, we're going to do just 3 more rounds. Excuse me. We're going to add the feet to that, which I know sounds really weird. So as you exhale using Ujjayi breath, you're going to draw the pelvic floor muscles up and you're going to press the backs of your toes into the floor to deepen the arch of the foot a little bit. So we're playing with these diaphragms of the body. See what you think, right? Don't worry about it if you don't get it right. If you can't do both at the same time, maybe do the feet for one, the diaphragm for one, and then, or the pelvic floor for one, and then the whole thing for one. All right, here we go, everybody. Just inhale, Ujjayi breath. Exhale. Inhale, let all that go. Exhale. One more. And shake it out, let it go. That is something to play with, just to, when next time you're sitting in a chair, sitting up nice and tall, working with the pelvic floor muscles, working with the arches of the feet. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, one hand down, the other one stretches over. You can grab the leg of your chair if it happens to be there, but press down through the opposite hip. Find your breath. I realize my chair is the same color as my shirt. Inhale, squeeze it up. Exhale, stretch to the other side, everybody. Try not to over grip here, but use that chair for support. You can either hold or you can even press in and breathe. Good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, other side. Want you to hold on gently and then see if you can open the chest just a little bit, right? Just a little bit to that side. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, reach, 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 and then open that arm, open that chest a little. Good. And take it up. Exhale, right to your heart. Interlace those hands, press up. Don't forget about the feet. Don't forget about grounding through the feet, and then curl everything in. You might hit the back of your chair. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, curl it in. Good. Last one. Inhale it up. Exhale, curl it in. And then press it straight out and stretch through those wrists. Drop the shoulders. Take the arms up part way. See if you can extend through the arms. Don't do anything that hurts. Take it up a little bit more. I'm still not all the way up. I'm right kind of diagonaled up toward the ceiling. And then if your wrists allow, press all the way up. See if you can straighten those arms. Big deep breath and release it. Whoo, and shake it out. Good job, everybody. And then if you can, if your chair does not have arms, turn to one side. If your chair does have arms, you can do this sitting forward. So turn to one side, try to find some steadiness on the chair. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus arms twist to the back of your chair and just hold for a moment. And then let either both hands go to the back of your chair or one hand to your chair, shoulders down, and the other hand to the back of your chair, which would be your side if you're sitting sideways. Now, plant through your feet, lift up through your spine, notice, and then try to look over that shoulder a little bit more, and then release it and look over the shoulder, the opposite shoulder. Good. Take it over one shoulder and release it back to the other and back to neutral. Inhale, both arms up. Come on back to center. I kind of like the chair for the slippy slidiness of it, which also can create problems. So be mindful there. And make sure, I didn't say this in the beginning, make sure all four legs of your chair are on your mat so that the chair can't slip and slide. All right, so let's turn to the other side. We start by grounding the feet. We lift up really tall. We feel as balanced as we can on the chair. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus arms turn toward the chair. Feel what it feels like on this side. Either both hands to the back of the chair or that further hand, that hand that's further away behind you to the side chair, and then your front hand to that back of chair. I know it's kind of confusing. It's easier to do than to say. And then feel your pose again. Sit really tall, lengthen through your tailbone, everyone. Tone in through the low belly. Notice your pose. And then turn the head over to one shoulder and over the other. Good. Don't forget to breathe. Turn and turn. And then head more neutral. Take those arms up. Slide yourself around. Come back to the front of your chair and let go. Roll that out. Good. And then the feet come slightly wider than your normal. And I want you to just take your elbows to your knees and notice that. And then do some heel lifts. Okay, so I'm purposefully putting some weight on my legs as I do some heel lifts, working with the calf muscles a little bit. I like chair again, you know, it's always really easy to start off simple. Good, keep going. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Walk the feet in a little bit and bring the heels towards each other. They don't have to touch. And then lift again. So 10, 9, 8, 7. Let your arms do a little weightlifting there. 5, 4. Squeeze. 3, 2, and 1. Straighten the heels, but bring the toes in. If it hurts your knees, don't do it. And then lift for 10 more. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those toes forward. Walk them out nice and wide. And then lengthen through your spine so that you have a nice neutral spine, as if you could pull your body forward while bringing the tailbone back. Always, always, right? If I turn my chair sideways, I want you to just notice we've got to be careful about tipping our chair. So as I reach forward, keeping the torso nice and neutral, I'm pushing back with the tailbone at the same time. And then start to come down a little bit lower. Watch your back. If your hands allow, if your body allows, take your hands down to your feet. And breathe. Little forward fold here. I've got one foot on either edge of my mat. For me, that works really nicely. Maybe your hands go to the floor right in front of you. Just see if you can keep some neutrality to the spine. Breathe, everybody. That's it. One more big deep breath. And then take your elbows back to your knees and come up the rest of the way. I love the folding chairs because they're so easy to move and maneuver. So keep that in mind. All right, so you're going to hold the back of your chair anywhere you can. Some of you are going to have to grab the back side. Some of you can grab the back arms. And then take the sit bones forward, lean back and see if you can lift the feet off of the floor. Big tone to your belly here. You can even reach behind, but this is another one that you want to make sure your weight is balanced, especially if you have a lightweight folding chair. Take the feet out, little 90 degrees. If you can, let go with the chair. Find your sit bones on this nice hard chair. Whew, boat pose, everybody. Breathe, and then take your hands back to your chair and lower the legs. Sit up really tall. So again, right, finding that balance. A lot of times, which I didn't say, but a lot of times we'll set a chair up against the wall just for that added stability. So let's do that again. You're sitting somewhere middle of your chair, slightly forward. Take the feet up. You might stay right here, or you might take the hands behind your thighs and push the thighs away as you open up your chest, right? If that works, stay right there. If not, maybe the legs go more 90 degree-ish and the arms go up. Sorry to show you my feet. Breathe. Lift up really tall, everybody. Find that core work. And exhale. Whew. And let go. Just straighten the legs for now. That's it. And then bend the knees again. You can hang on to the side of your chair. I'll turn sideways again. I just think it can be helpful for you all to see. And just sit up really tall. Hold on to your chair anywhere that it makes sense and lift one leg. And then see if you can level out the hips. We didn't talk about that, and I may after this before we move on, right? We've been dealing with this, excuse me, clock face idea, this neutral pelvis idea. So see if you can find that. And notice that just doing this is work, right? Got this leg lifted, the thighs working, the hip flexors working, the chest stays tall. Find your breath and then set it down, right? So it doesn't have to be a lot. What we're doing doesn't have to be a lot. So let's go to the other side. I want you to sit up tall, draw the low belly in, those transverse abdominis muscles, so that we have a neutral spine. Lift the other leg. And then just see if you can feel both sit bones on the floor, right? The hip flexors working, the quads working. We're doing nothing else except, by the way, pushing down with the other foot, right? There's your balance. There's what we're working on. Good strength. Nice pose there, Betty. And lower down. Phase two. If that was really hard, stay there, hang out there. It's all right. If you're still good, take that first leg up. Push down through the standing foot. Feel how that energizes and kind of levels you out. Notice that. And I want you to tap this heel, the leg that's lifted, tap and lift for 2, 3. Keep the upper body up. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. 8. I know. 9. And 10, and lower down. You can straighten the leg, give it a little rest. Those are those hip flexors. That's psoas muscle mostly, right? Part of the quad, the psoas in particular. Breathe. And let's go to the other side. Lift up really tall, lift the leg. Maybe you hang out here, real important to press down through the foot that's on the floor. Lift up tall, find your energy here, right? Find your levelness, and then just tap. 1, 2. The temptation is to do this, right? Yeah, I don't want to do that though. I want to stay tall so that this is what's working. Let's do 3 more because I haven't been counting. 2 and 1. Good. Straighten both legs and shake it out. Ah, so if you're at your desk a lot of the day and you know who you are, take 5 minutes every half hour, every hour, and just move your body around your chair. Do some things that get your blood flowing again. All right, back to the first leg, and then we're almost done with this. You're sitting up really tall. If it's hard to sit up tall, you hang onto your chair. Lift the first leg, press into the standing foot. We're going to extend out for 10. So either you're doing that, you're heel tapping, or you're just holding. Here we go. 1, full extension best you can. 2, 3, yep. 4, I'm not sure whose knees making more noise, mine or Betty's. 5, sit up tall. 7, 9, yep, hold the 10, hold the 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let go. Ooh, good work. All right, last one, other side. Press down, lift one leg. You know what to do for you, right? To take care of all this. Either you're going to extend out, heel tap, or just hold. Here we go. 1, 2, yep. 3, 4, chest up. 5, belly toned. 6, good extension. 7, 8, 9, 10, hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and lower. Oh, that's big fun right there. Let me tell you, I'm going to face forward just one more time. And then we're going to get up and stand, or at least do something. All right, so 5-pointed star on the chair, tricky, be mindful. The first thing we're going to do is a precursor, hands to the chair. You're going to go, woo, and you got to do the woo part too, okay? So you because it makes it all worth it. So we're going to do 5 of those, just legs, do your best. Doesn't matter how high they go. So lean back, but try not to lean into the chair. Watch your chair balance and lift up tall. Here we go. 1, woo, 3, 4, and set those down. Lordy, right? I was reading an article this morning about creating more joy in your life, and one of them was laugh. Just laugh. Laugh at the craziness of it, laugh at the silliness of it. All right, so set of 5, full 5-pointed star. You might have seen me. It's like this. Try not to lean back in your chair, okay? Here we go. Just for 5, do your best. All right. Woo! 2, 3, I'm a starfish. 4, and 5, and let go. Shake it out. Good job, everybody. I hope you're giggling along with me. All right, grab your strap. I checked this one out with Betty. She said it was Betty approved. So you're going to take your strap. It's in a loop, and you're going to place it between, up at the middle of your thighs. I know one of you not using a chair today. You decide if you want to do this standing. It's basically squats. So I don't know if that would be appropriate. You decide. So you've got a decent purchase on your strap, but your feet are a little wider than hips width apart. The tail end of it is out of your way. And really all we're going to do is we're going to press against the strap and stand up. And then we're going to sit back in the chair. So the chair doesn't move. As long as your feet don't move, you should be fine. Okay, here we go. Now, try to make sure the knees don't rub into the middle, hence the strap, right? All right, here we go. So up and down. We're going to see if we can do 10. 2 and 3 and 4. Press against the strap. 5, don't overdo it. Strap's probably too tight, Betty. 6, 7, okay. 8, 9, yep, one more. And 10, and have a seat. Whoo, straighten those legs. And then take the strap down to your ankles. Please be careful here. If you feel at all unbalanced, I don't want you to do these because we're moving our bodies and our legs are tied up. Please be careful. All right, so maybe 10 more. Here it's harder for these babies not to roll in. So press them out. Feet are solid. Hands can come to your heart. Press up. 1. Squeeze your behind when you come. Up, down. And 2. And down. Go slow. 3. 4. Squeeze. 5. And 6. Yep, we're almost there. 4 more. 7. 8. 9. I like these better. And 10. Have a seat. Take that strap out. Whew. Good. Set your strap aside. Before we get up, I just want to play with this thing that I thought I was going to do right away, first thing, and I forgot. So that whole idea, right, of the clock face. And if I turn sideways so you can see, it's how do we sit in the chair? If we tilt or tuck our pelvis and tilt our pelvis, can we find the neutral space right in the middle where if we had a clock face, belly button to pubic bone and both of our hip points, it would be fairly neutral. And then I watched a video this morning and she said, now bring the ribs in line with the hips. In other words, we're not poking those out. We're drawing them in, low bellies in, and then just feel that. And then feel both sit bones even, and then press into your feet and feel the outer hips start to activate a little bit as if you could stand up. Don't forget to breathe. Good. And then release that. Go ahead and come up to standing, everybody. So you're going to take your chair, if it's not already, to the front of your mat, making sure all 4 points are on your mat. Now, if you're on carpet, you don't have to be so careful there. It's just if you're on a slippy floor. And then take both hands to your chair and just walk yourself out until your ankle bones line up with your hip bones, which is hard to tell when you don't have somebody looking at you. And just pause here. This is just an L shape pose, or it could be a long down dog with your heels flat. But just notice how you feel here. You're pressing down on the chair, not pushing that chair away. Activate the upper back. Press into your thumb, your index and middle fingers. Your pinky fingers can even wrap around the edges of your chair. And then lift your heels and drop down. Good. 9 more. Lift. Lower, belly's toned. 3, 4, 5. Yep. Come on. 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. And 10. Those calf muscles had to work pretty hard for that. Look at your chair. Step forward with your left leg. Adjust your back leg so that you're in a nice long lunge. Some of you can walk your foot forward and have the chair touching your knee, but it's not necessary. And once we move the hands, the chair will probably shift a little anyway. In this lunge, supported with your chair, I want you to think about the clock face. Now, if you're not using a chair, your hands are on the knee. I want you to see if you can level out the hips. So 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock are even. And then tone in the lower belly so that up and down it's more neutral and less tilted. Find that. Press through your back leg, almost tuck in a little bit. Take your hands off your chair to your knee. Optional if you're working on balance. Once again, figure out the clock face and then take the arms up. Fire up the back leg. Breathe, keep working those hips. For me, left hip has to come back every time. Right hip has to come forward. And then I draw the low belly in, lengthen the tailbone. Good. Exhale, hands down, press down on the chair, step back to either a long down dog or L shape. They're kind of the same pose with the chair. So just breathe. And then step forward, right leg. Same thing here. Adjust the back leg so that you feel you're in your lunge. Feel the power of that glute. Start to play with that little clock facey thing, right? Where is it in your body? Does the right hip have to go back and the left hip forward for you? If your right knee curls in, your right hip has to reach back as if somebody could tuck that whole outer hip down toward the other leg. And then feel the tone in of the low belly. Take your hands to your knee. Come up really tall. Fire up the back leg. Take the arms up. And breathe. And notice if your front knee wants to roll in. If it does, maybe adjust the hips a little and see if that makes a difference. Maybe tuck the, hi Buddha. Maybe tuck the right glute under a little bit. See what that does. And exhale, hands come to the chair, to the floor. If you're not using a chair, downward facing dog. And breathe. And then look at the chair, step forward about halfway. And let your head come down toward your chair or forward fold. Your hands can stay on the chair or the hands can go to the floor. Everything about a chair is about how tall or short you are and how tall or short your chair is. So trust your body here. Do what feels right. And then hands to chair, if they're not already, press halfway up. Exhale, take it down again. Hands to your chair, step back, right leg. Adjust your left foot, usually has to come forward. Open up your shoulders, adjust your clock face or your pelvis. Take the hands off the chair, reach up. You can always stay with hands on chair. Squeeze the beach ball, everybody. Head is neutral. Now, draw the front ribs in just a little bit and breathe. Exhale, hands down, little sun salute here. Step back, downward facing dog. Make sure your hands feel solid on your chair. And then take the torso forward for plank pose. Plank pose, everybody. Draw the low belly up toward the belly button. Come to your tippy toes for a second. Fire up the inner thighs and then lower the heels again. So firing up means roll them back a little bit, but don't let the knees roll in. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press your body away as if you're going to go to down dog and then step forward with your right leg. Adjust your left leg back. If you step too close to your chair, when you come up to forward fold, you'll kind of topple over your chair. So keep that in mind. Adjust your pose, tone in, hands off your chair. Come on up. Think about what we've been talking about, right? This relatively neutral pelvis, the back leg active, the back thigh reaching back. Breathe. And then exhale, hands to your chair, step forward, adjust the feet if you need to. Take the head down toward your chair. Maybe the hands come to the floor. Pause. Sit bones rise up. Inner thighs roll back or inward and to the back of the room. Take your hands to your chair. Press up, press up, press up. Squeeze your belly. Take the torso up the rest of the way. Inhale up. Exhale, mountain pose. Roll the shoulders back. Good. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, hands to chair. Lower your head to the chair. Maybe the hands come to the floor. This might be too much. Maybe you come halfway and breathe. You also don't want to smash your head on the chair. So if the chair's too tall, keep your hands on your chair. Everybody hands to chairs halfway up. Exhale, start to lower that torso as you step back with your left leg. Adjust your pose for your lunge. Adjust your pose. Inhale. Even before I lift, I'm taking that pelvis and I'm drawing it in. Hands can pause at the knee, and then we take the arms up. Nice crescent lunge here. Nice high lunge. Just feeling the strength of your body. Hold the beach ball. Breathe, adjust the hips as needed. Try to draw this body in, right? So that the tailbone stays nice and long. And breathe. Exhale, hand comes to chair. Step back to your down dog or L shape. The upper body extended. This should feel so good. Maybe you wiggle one hip away from the armpit and then the other one. Big stretch for side body. Take everything forward for plank. Here we are again, lengthening through the pubic bone, tone the low belly. Bring the ribs in. No sinking of those hips, everyone. Big deep breath. And then press back a little bit, just so you can get that left foot forward, right foot back. Reach in through that pelvis, almost a tuck as you squeeze the back glute. Take those arms up. Here we are again. Nice high lunge. Breathe. Notice. That's it. Feeling super solid here. And then exhale, your hands to the floor. I have to step back a little before I step up so I don't hit my chair on the way. Forward fold. Hands are either to your chair or to the floor. Big deep breath. That's it. And then your hands to your chair, come halfway up and breathe. Walk your feet back a little bit so that your ankles and your knee or your ankles and your hips line up as you stand. Tone in through the lower belly, press into the chair, lift one leg. Yep, just breathe. Try to feel yourself at the center of your standing foot. Don't let the head drop to the chair. Keep it neutral. You're looking at your chair, but you're probably looking more toward the back seat of your chair. Big deep breath. Squeeze that glute, everybody. Optional, your left leg is lifted. Your right hand comes off your chair and to the front top edge of your chair seat or the back of your chair. Breathe. Lower that hand. Lower the leg. Pause. And let's go to the other side. When you're ready, press back through the right leg. See if you can level out the hips. Try to be on the center of that line, the center of your foot. Releasing the left hand to the top of your chair. Breathe. Keep reaching deep into that left hip crease. And release. Legs down, hands down. Walk toward the chair, stand all the way up. Exhale to your heart. And then this is your child's pose. so just have a seat for a second and see how you feel, right? See how your body feels at the moment. If you want, you can curl over those legs, so more true child pose-ish. And just let yourself pause for a second. Good. Come on up, everybody. Walk the feet out a little. See if you can stand up without your hands. If you can, great. If you can't, don't worry. All right, so I want to play with Warrior 2. And we're going to be at the back of the chair. And I could teach it this way, but then the chair's kind of in the way. I'll try that and see what you think. And then maybe I'll turn sideways. So you're at the front of your chair, or at the back of your chair, the back side. And I'm even going to lift up my shirt a little just so you have contrast. And take your feet wide and turn the toes in, if you can, a little bit, right? So they're really parallel or straight. But if you can turn the toes in a little, that'd be awesome. And then kind of look at your feet and see that they're even across the line, right? So your big toes are lined up on your mat. From there, I want you to pick up, I'll try to mirror here. So pick up your right heel and pivot it in and then adjust. So when you do that, ideally, and I was actually too narrow, your front heel intersects with the middle of your back arch. And then come back to this middle space again. Because what we want to do already, so Betty, think Warrior 2 turns sideways. So you probably have to come off your mat or take your chair to the side. There you go. And then your right leg would be forward, your left foot would be back, and you're facing your chair. There you go. Turn your back foot to the side more. There you go. She was all ready for Warrior 1. She's like, no, Warrior 1. Let's do it. All right. So you're here, and I want you to just get a sense of where the hips are in space, because I think we talked about it last class or maybe Friday, we'll tend to drop this hip when we go to Warrior 2. So with a straight leg, I want you to see if you can find a relatively neutral clock face, relatively neutral. And then start to bend the front knee. Your hands stay on your chair. And then look at your front knee and see if it is rolling inward, which is common, right? So if I move my chair out of the way, if I roll this front hip back a little and roll the front thigh externally rotated a little bit, then my knee, center of my knee lines up with the center of my foot. I still got my hands on the chair. So if you're still looking at your knee, come back to the chair. Notice the back hip. It has to roll in some. And if I were to pull the chair all the way up to my hip, it's going to hit my back. And I don't want you to do that, but it would hit your back hip, but not your front hip, right? Because we don't do that anyway. We don't square the hips in Warrior 2. We take care of the front knee alignment, the front hip alignment. We draw the torso relatively neutral. We pull up on that pubic bone up to belly button, and then we can take the arms out to the sides and breathe and feel the activity of your legs. Imagine that your back foot is pressing into the wall. That's it. Find your breath. Draw in, lengthen under, the front hip lengthens under the glute, right? And then take your hands to your chair Turn your toes forward. Super mindful here, depends on your chair. If you can, take your hands over your chair. Some of you, if you're tall like me, you can just drop your elbows to your chair or your hands to your chair. Big deep breath. And then press hands into chair, to the back of your chair. Come on back up. The feet are where they were to start. Belly tones in, tailbone gets long, our torso is long, our clock face feels pretty darn neutral here. So I want you to lift your left heel and straighten that foot. And then look at your alignment. Your chair is there so that you can play with feet until the cows come home. Notice, and then notice that back leg, right? And then take your hands to your hips for a second and just see if you can find that level-ish plane along the hips. It feels pretty good when I do that, and it's something I was not aware of so much. So the clock face is pretty neutral. I'm going to start to bend the front knee and go, okay, what's happening to my knee on this side? Does it roll in? Do I need to, again, I'm going to just shift the chair a little bit. Do I need to wrap the front glute under, right? Wrap the front hip back in order to get that nice neutral hip. If you're using the chair, you can go longer, but keep drawing this front hip. Don't let the front rib hip drop forward. Keep it more neutral. Keep wrapping the front hip back. The back leg rolls in slightly. It got this gorgeous solid pose. Then the arms can come out. Breathe. The arms can come out and play, right? Because you've created such a solid foundation for the pose that the arms are like, yay, I can do whatever I want with my arms and my legs are solid. That's it. And then take your hands to your chair, straighten the knee, turn the toes forward again. If your chair so allows, come on forward. And even if you're here, it's more about kind of a halfway forward fold, or if your legs are long, your torso can float over that chair a little bit. Big deep breath. All right, press hands in the chair, come on up. Turn that first side back out. Do everything we just did. And for me, what that means, and it's a habit I'm breaking quickly now that I'm aware, is not dropping, right? But leveling. I really like that. I like that idea. And then the back glute tucks under, and we can get this nice engagement in the backside here. Okay, so you're here, one hand stays on your chair, the other arm, the same leg that's straight, that arm reaches. And then I'm going to keep this as neutral as I can, this underside, reach out with my arm and then let it float down wherever it's going to float. Roll that shoulder open, tone in through the belly. Notice if your chest is coming toward that chair. And take the arm up. Breathe. Low belly tones in. Play with your pose. Does your front leg's hip have to roll back more? Can you find more length in the back leg? And then maybe take that arm that's up high over your ear. And breathe. Reach that arm up, that top arm back up. Slide the other arm up your leg and come on out. Good. And then turn your toes. Here we are. Forward fold. Easy peasy, right? This is easy stuff. Easy stuff. Breathe. And then let's go to the other side. Come on up. I'm not giving you a lot of time to rest because I just saw the time. So even though we're doing super basic stuff here, probably What we are doing is refining, especially based on what I've been learning over these last 4 weeks. So front leg is straight, hips are pretty even, right? The back leg just got active. The back glute got active. I'm feeling this pose. The back hand goes to your chair. The front hand starts to reach over, but I'm not dropping into the hip joint with the chair, this joint, right? I'm not sinking in here. I'm actually reaching out of it and then taking the hand down. And for me, I have to allow the back hip to roll forward a little bit. Otherwise, it feels crappy on my SI area, on my sacrum. Then I feel everything start to lengthen. I can take that top arm up. The bottom hand is being supported with the shin. Breathe. Maybe the arm goes over the head or over the ear, but if you drop your chest, ain't worth it. Breathe, everybody. And then pull the top arm up, slide the bottom arm up, turn all your toes, and lean over your chair. Feels kind of good. Breathe. Good. Come on up, everybody. And then heel toe your feet together. Shake out those knees. I'm going to put my chair back on my mat. If your chair is off your mat, go ahead and stick it back on the mat. Be mindful. Take kind of toes to the back legs of your chair, right? And then you can lean over the chair and come on down to elbows. Only if you feel super steady and the chair cooperates, you can take yourself to a weird down dog by taking hands to the floor or to your blocks, which I didn't cue. Now, the toes on the chair are keeping that chair from going with you. So please keep that chair grounded. Reach back. Just feel how good. This can feel really good or really weird. So your choice. And then push your hands to your chair. Take it to the back of your chair. Come up to standing. And shake it out, everybody. Good. All right, where do I want to go next? So turn your chair back around or walk around back to the front end of your chair. Stand in front of it. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your chair. Short step back with your right leg. So short step meaning warrior one or pyramid. Both of those lining up about the same. So before we do anything else, your hands are on your chair. And again, I want to see what is happening with my legs, with my hips. If I do nothing, my hips are askew and my left hip, my left foot's forward, my left hip is dropping and forward, and my right hip is lifted and back. And I don't want that really. So I'm going to start by rolling the hips toward the front of the chair. And then I'm going to scoop in that clock face, that 6 o'clock, that groin. I'm going to draw that up a little bit as I keep playing with the hips. Now, the hips don't have to be perfectly square, right? Let me say that again. The hips do not have to be perfectly square, and in most of us, they're not. What I want is that alignment so that the front hip is level, the front knee is pointing forward, and the front foot is pointing forward. Find that. And then bend your front knee and take that knee over the ankle. And again, adjust the hips. And again, squeeze in the belly. But before the hands lift, I want you to push into your back outer heel a lot. And then lift the hands off your chair, take them up for warrior one. I feel a little short in that pose, so I'm going to adjust and take it up. Here's the thing. If the pose feels really wonky or something doesn't feel good, chances are you're too long, okay? And then you would want to shorten. but where is everything happening in my body? If I come off the front knee, tone in through the low belly, and then sink in, can I find the pose really feeling strong and solid? Push both feet away from each other. Find your breath. And then straighten the front knee as your hands come to your chair. Reach both hips back. And then maybe one hand to the floor, other hand to the floor, right? Breathe, finding pyramid pose. Check the front foot. Make sure you don't roll off of that big toe mound. Push into the back leg. Breathe. Hands to your chair. Slide your front foot back a little bit just because you probably have to. And release. Ooh, maybe your forehead to the floor or to your chair. That just feels good. So there's something, and then come on up all the way up. So there's an acupuncture point that's right at the third eye, right? And there's something about resting your forehead on anything, chair, block, that calms the nervous system down. So I don't know if that's probably why that feels really nice to me. All right, so right foot forward, left foot back. Take your hands to your chair and the front knee straight or straightish, and just start to do that play again, right? So start to play. Where is that behind, right, of the front leg? Can we draw it back? If you can picture the middle of your sit bone reaching straight back. And then start to tone in through the belly a little bit, press into both legs, bend your front knee. And then play again, because as soon as we bend the front knee, something else might habitually go back to where it was. Check your front foot. I know, just notice my inner arch was dropping in. So I'm going to press a little more into the peaky side. I'm going to feel the back hip roll forward, the front hip roll back. Take your hands to your knee. Hold in through the belly as you lift your chest and take the arms up, warrior one. So, right, it doesn't matter whether you're here. I see people that do warrior one way back here. It's not really my thing so much. I don't feel so stable. But so that's the key, right? Does it feel stable? Does it feel good? Do you feel like you could hold the pose? And if you say no to those, then change something. Change usually the length of your pose. Good, hands to the floor. Straighten your front leg. Most of your toes are pointing forward, right? Your back foot is just slightly angled out. Front hip rolls back. The sit bone points straight back. Press into the back heel. Lengthen the torso. Maybe your elbows come to your chair. And you contemplate this like gorgeous little pose that's stretching the heck out of your hammies, but it's lengthening that torso. It's drawing the inner groin back. Maybe the hands come to the floor, maybe not. Whew, that's a long one for me. I got to shorten a little bit. And breathe. Big deep breath, everybody. Hands to chair. Press up. I want you to keep the hands solid on the chair. Step back, nice L shape, but this time with bent knees. Bent knees. Bent knees. That's hard to say clearly. Bent. Bent knees. Big deep breath. And then press into the chair to lift yourself up, to walk your feet back and come up to standing. Whew. Good job, everybody. I'm going to turn my chair. You probably want to turn your chair too so that it is long ways on your mat. Grab your blanket. And set your blanket on your chair so that you've got some cushion. And then grab your blocks, one on either side of your chair. This one is and continues to be optional. Okay, give you a couple of options. So if you don't want to do what we're about to do, which is lay on our side, so you decide, Betty, then I would come back to a nice, really nice side stretch here with one hand to the block, because that's what we're doing, is we're doing side stretch. When you're on a chair, okay, gets a little dicier because there's not a lot of space here. It's just a little seat. And then the chair arms get in the way. So be mindful, okay? I'll show you where we're going. If you've done chair work with me before, you know that I like this one, so we tend to do it each time. You're gonna lay on your side and find the center of your hip on the center of the chair. Now, your hand can go to the floor if you have long arms like me, or your hand can go on the block if you have shorter arms. And you're going to press out and then see if you can straighten both legs. So you're balancing on your hip, right? I've got a little bit of support with the back arm of the chair. And then take the top arm up. Flex your feet. Fire up your glutes. Find your pose. And breathe. Try not to roll the hips forward or back. Press out of the standing shoulder. And breathe. And then take the top arm to your chair and bend your knees around the back side of your chair. Some of you are going to be able to do this, some not. You're going to take your top arm behind your chair and just see if you can find a foot. And you're doing a little back bend. I'm making this look really awful. And breathe. Maybe the top leg straight, or the top leg bent and the bottom leg bent. That feels better. And breathe. So you can start to wrap yourself around the chair. I'm playing as I'm talking, and it's not working really well. So be careful. As I said, right, teacher, be mindful. Sorry. Good thing this chair is stable, because I'm just like wobbling all over it. All right, come on out, everybody. And lay on your belly. On the chair, on your belly. Sorry. So you're going to do a little Superman, Superwoman pose, right? So I'm on my belly. Now, if that chair is too narrow and you don't feel stable, please don't do this on the chair. Do it on the floor instead. Now, fire up the legs. Roll the shoulders back. Optional, one hand off your chair or both. Your weight has to be back far enough that you're not going to tip forward. And breathe. Superwoman. That's it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands down. For me, easiest way to get out of this is to slide down until you land on one or both knees. You can take one knee down, Betty, too, and then come on back up. Crazy stuff, but it feels good. All right, other side, be careful. You're going to come down. You're going to get to the side of the chair. You're going to fire up your legs. Remember, that hand is either on a block or not. And then try to lengthen the legs. Try to squeeze in. Take the top arm up. And breathe. I like this one. Right? So it's a core pose. You're working your core. You want more core work? Try to lift the legs a little higher. Oh, and breathe. And notice. That's it. And then take your top arm to your chair, bend one or both knees. See if you can find your foot. Well, so much easier on this side. I find that interesting. Both hips press forward. I'm going to have to go back to the other side. Woo, breathe. Nice little back bend here. You can play. There's a lot of stuff you can do here on your side. And release that carefully. Slide onto your belly. Remember, the blanket is slippery. When you're ready, if you're ready, both legs, both arms, or just the legs. So on this side, I'm a little halfway off my chair, so got to be super careful here. Superwoman. Let me say that, or Superman. And let go. Whew. And then if you can, kind of slide one or both knees to the floor. Even that feels good, just leaning over your chair. Whew. And then come on up, everybody. All right, final adjust with the chair. Leave the blanket on the chair. Take the chair to the front or back side of your mat with the seat of your chair close by. Shavasana is coming quickly. Sounds good, doesn't it? So I want you to come down to down onto your back. Listen up. Take your feet to the inside legs of your chair, the inside legs. So the outside of your feet are pressing on the inside of your front chair legs. Whew. And then just pause for a second and feel that. Where are your hips? Where's your little clock face? What's happening in your body? Good. On the inhale, I want you to tilt your pelvis and move your low back away from the floor. On the exhale, I want you to tuck your pelvis, lengthen your tailbone, lift up your hips. Maybe your knees hit the front of your chair, maybe not, but your feet are parallel to each other and the outer pinky side of your feet are pressing into the chair leg. Yep. Keep lengthening your tailbone. Keep feeling those glute muscles lengthen under. Breathe. And then slowly lower it down. Ah. And breathe. One more time, same exact thing. First tilt. Then tuck, lengthen the tailbone, lift the hips, press in. Some of you will walk your shoulders under and interlace your hands, but the focus is here, everybody. The focus is at the glutes tucking under, the shoulders pressing to the floor, and breathe. The shins press toward your chair, and then lower down. Good job, everybody. Bring the knees to your chest. Just a super kind of little quick twist. Let the knees roll to one side. Going to release that work we just did. And then one knee up at a time. Let the feet fly over your chair. Go to the other side. Release that, and then Shavasana, legs up your chair. If you have a seat back like I do and you can fish your feet under the chair back, that would be great. If you have a solid back chair, I would suggest that you let the back of the knees be more straight and take your feet up the chair and let it rest on the back of the chair so that your feet don't feel jammed up. And then breathe. So there's two ways to play with this. One is that the back of your knees are at the back of your chair and your pelvis is pretty neutral straight up and down. It might not be straight up, but it's so that everything feels really heavy. And this is super, super nice. The other option is to move your hips away so that the back of the knees create a little bit of traction of the pelvis and the legs. And that feels really nice for a whole different reason. So maybe you pause, you do a few minutes, a couple of minutes on the more of a traction feel where your hips have pulled away from the chair, but your legs and shins or calves stay on. And we let go of the breath. We let go of all the tension. We find that ease of breath. Try to belly breathe or diaphragm breathe. In other words, when you inhale, feel the diaphragm area and the belly rise up. And as you exhale, let that area fall down. And maybe if you're doing the traction thing, just take a moment to scoot your hips closer to the chair so that you can fully relax here. If your knees don't hit the back of the chair easily, I should have said this earlier, a blanket or a pillow under the hips to raise the hips can be helpful. But then truly let all of that go. We play with a lot of details in yoga, in our yoga class. But in Shavasana, we let those details be integrated at a cellular level and we let go of the thought process that goes with it. We just be in our bodies. Allow yourself to get heavy, heavy, heavy on the floor. Let the legs be heavy, the mind quiet. Feel your body smile from the inside out, bringing joy to each cell. And if you're ready, start to wiggle the toes. And if the toes are behind a chair end, maybe take them out. Go slow here. If you want to stay here, even though that was roughly 5 minutes or 6 minutes, please stay. If you need some rest and restoration, take the time right now to be there a little longer. But otherwise, you're going to bend those knees and draw the knees up toward your chest. Take a deep breath in as you hug yourself on the exhale. And then allow the knees to roll to one side or the other. Be very careful as you curl up. Your chair will be there in front of you. You can even put your forearms on the chair and rest your forehead on the blanket. Another really nice way to end. And then bring your hands to your heart. Bow to your own inner sweetness and your joy. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody.